Hi, this is Robert Clinkenbeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. We're going to take 20 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing content from accomplished leaders and business owners to provide you with some value to help you scale your business, become a better leader, and push yourself out of your comfort zone into something which is going to stretch you. We really hope you enjoy these shows, and we really encourage you to like and share with your friends and network, which is only going to help us get a wider audience and improve our industry. I'm super excited to announce that in 2023, we're going to be announcing new partnerships, digital courses, some rebranding, and your opportunity to be coached by one of our many industry leaders, experts, or coaches. Cheers, everyone. Hi, this is Robert Clinkenbeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. I'm excited today to be joined by good friend, Brett Lemcke. Brett, welcome to the show.
Hey, Robert. Good. Glad to see you.
So, Brett, just tell the audience, we have audience from all over the place, Australia, Europe, Asia. We've probably never, who is this guy, Brett? Tell them about your background.
Well, that will bring him a little closer to upstate New York, and so the exotic parts of all the world here. But I encourage everybody to come up to upstate New York, not during winter, of course. But so New York native, and born and raised in the Western New York part, Buffalo Bills fan, and we are. I'm part of a family landscape company, RM Landscape. We're celebrating 50 years this year, founded by
awesome.
my father and my uncle started the business. I've been there 20 plus years, just understood that my career path pretty soon into the world was, this is what it's going to be. And so I love landscape, and certainly spent the time in the field, studied horticulture and landscape management at SUNY Cobleskill. Jump right in, a little bit of a stint with some internships and working for some other folks, but really got right back into the family business, and has been going very strong, to this point here now. Full service landscape operation, big snow is growing for us tremendously, and primarily commercial in that arena, but we do some design build, residential work. And got about 130 team members working with us, and just really proud of that.
That's awesome. And I believe newly announced as the CEO.
Oh, yeah. We, my father and I, we don't put a lot of emphasis on titles, but it is a big deal, and it's a big part of the transition that we've done. And so I eventually had to get on LinkedIn and change that title. And oh my gosh, just a lot of support from friends and colleagues. And it felt great, but also the role's really not been any different. I've been sitting in this leadership role for the organization, but now I have the title. And so excited. Certainly it is a big deal. It's been something I'm working hard to achieve. And for my father, he's trying to also learn what his next steps are as chairman. And I don't know if he's accepted. His goal was to be called chief cheerleader rather than chairman.
Does he embrace that title, or does he?
He's the spirit of our organization, and he lives on our property where he sees everybody every day. And so it's just the 50 years, this moment in life for him, a lot's going through his head. What's next, what to do, or why does it have to change? And he's got someone like me that really wants to scale, and a lot of other great people in our organization that are ready to go. And so we're not using the word step aside. We're just saying, let's refocus. Where does he really want to focus, and where do I want to go? Right.
I keep getting pictures in my head about your dad wearing a cheerleader outfit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you got to picture this one. We have a long driveway, comes up to our facility. And on Fridays, he sits there, probably, I think, in his pajamas, but just his morning clothes. And he called it $5 Friday. And everybody that comes up the driveway, and this doesn't happen every Friday, but it comes up the driveway, the team member gets $5. And so they see him sitting there, and if it's with an umbrella or something, everybody sort of gets a little more excited because they know.
Oh, that's cool. I love that. I love that. People remember that. So it was interesting you talked about your CEO title, because we had a webinar last week with David Anderson, and his book is called Leader is Not a Title. And it's such a great book, and with a great webinar, and it talked about, yes, it's all right to have a title, but I think you get more respect from your team if you're actually in it. You're getting involved. You're getting your hands dirty. You're getting your respect from your other team members. And I think you've done a great job in terms of if you've spent 20 plus years in the business, you understand it, you're embracing it. You've went to college to get your heart degree. All that type of stuff just shows that you're all in.
Oh, I'm all in. All in. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that have the stories that they started from running that mower or studying that program and have built their way up into the careers. And I'm certainly one of them. But the passion just continues. And it's been exciting to see what started with, I love the design and wanted to touch the equipment, has evolved to the strategy of the organization, the people building. We're adding people now that don't have horticulture or landscape backgrounds, but they're business minded and can really run parts of our operations and an organization well. And so that's exciting to see. And it bringing different kind of perspectives, because of course you always say, well, no, this is how landscapers do it. But is it? Do you always have to be that kind of mindset to that? So that piece and say, no, from like this past year, we did some reorganization. We've got a VP of sales. I've got VPs of operation. The VP of sales, gentlemen, been great in dynamic thinking and bringing a lot of expertise, but not as sold landscape services or anything in that context, but is quickly grabbing on and bringing an expertise that is very refreshing versus just a typical way of selling or what we would often think. So
yeah, and I mean, that's so true, because I think many landscape companies tend to do it the traditional way. And I think just, certainly that was one of the ways I learned the hard way, is just being involved in other groups like EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, where you're exposed to other business owners in other industries and seeing how they did things and applying some of those techniques into the landscape industry. So it's almost like becoming that thought leader and opening yourself up to other ideas.
Yeah. The way we found ourselves to this gentleman, Phil, that's working as VP of sales now, is I was looking for a sales leader, just someone to do the grinding of the sales. And I was going to manage that, but I quickly recognized my role as a sales manager. It was just not what inspired me. Chasing that space is just challenging from my perspective. And so while I love the sales part of it, I wanted somebody to really just grab a hold. And so in the conversation we had with him, his goal was to grow beyond just becoming a salesperson. And so we jumped pretty fast into this seat, and we're building a sales organization around it. And for our organization, sales is a big engine. We need that business to grow for us to really drive that profitability. And so it wasn't what I was looking for. Excited to find them. Really, we're building a good future together here. But it took a little bit of a leap of faith and a commitment to something that you see down the road. Right. And it feels good early on, but a lot of work ahead.
Yeah. So talk to me about your involvement. If you've gone through the heart, you're probably into plants, into design, but now you're leading this big organization. Now you're thinking about business strategy. How do I manage my team? How do I keep them engaged? So it's almost like a completely different skill set in being a leader, looking after, you're looking after not only, how many employees did you say you had?
130.
130, but if they have families, right, partners and families, then that could be 400 or 500 people. So if you're affecting the lives of all those people, I mean, do you feel that pressure? And how have you involved to become a better leader? What resources have you used?
I bought one of those health measures, the Whoop, and so I track my sleep every night, and now it offers you to track your stress. I'm sleeping well, and my stress is low, so that I guess I might be managing it okay, but it's there. I spent a lot of time with the clients. I like the operations, but I like the client-facing pieces a lot, and so I've built a good team to help with the operational folks. It has been difficult, certainly over the last few years for many of us. And how do we sort of adapt to the change that's come? And what do we continue to provide as an organization that is appropriate for the new world of it. And we've done an okay job. I certainly have more areas to sort of flex and be able to identify the benefits of working in our organization, and continue to attract the new people. So that's a lot of pressure, but I suppose, again, the same idea of the transition to CEO is like, it's been like that from day one. When I joined right out of college and I took on a sales role in design, or, let's build our maintenance part of the business up. I knew that responsibility to the people there, and learned a lot through that, learned how to be more mature, and work with people better. And, all the mistakes you make in your young 20s going into this space. But then it's, so right now it's a lot about like, I want to touch things, or, when you're in the operations, you got to touch everything and be a part of it. So I am learning the space of giving somebody else that ability, and it's not going to be my way. It's just going to be, the RM way is what we continue to hover around. And so how do I keep making sure we're on that path? So certainly different, not afraid of it. I guess I get more thinking like, how am I going to do this when I double this business again? And that will be where my brain starts going a little wild, and that stress.
And that's actually a good segue, because you've obviously evolved as a leader, and as you begin to scale your company, double, triple in size, you're going to have to empower and lead and coach and elevate your leadership team so that they come up with you. Sometimes there's casualties. Sometimes people can't necessarily handle that change. But how are you addressing that leadership development piece?
For myself, I like outside coaching and support, the peer group that you've been helping us with, the NALP relationships I've gone with, but just that I just been always wanting to learn. I'll transfer that to our team and having them engage at peer-to-peer conversations and events and pieces. And how does that continuous learning happen? And so I like to think I'm leading in that, and walking the walk in that space. And then it is just surround ourselves with people that just know more than me. And how do I keep finding them? And then allowing them to become part of the business. And so giving them the space to adapt to the culture, and really build strength within our team, and then go out there and pull those results in. And so that in the last couple of years, it's a good point. I mean, we thought some people would be with us for forever. Like, why would things change here? And things changed, and I can't control it all. But at the end of this, I look back and say, we've got a really strong team right now. Will it be the same team? Good questions. Will I need more of them? That's really what I think of mostly, is that I'm just going to have more of these folks. And where's that going to come from?
Yeah, and keep on filling that bench, whether it be interns, whether it be people from outside the industry even. So yeah, there's so many different resources out there.
Yeah. I've the network of friends, in your world, the EO space, and just the people that you just connect with. Again, how we found our VP of sales was a mutual friend through something on LinkedIn, and jumped all over it because it's just well timed. And so trust in the network is there's somebody there for you.
No, it's actually interesting. I had a conversation this morning, and the book that came up was Who Not How. And that's obviously that's a key to many things, is who do you know? Who can I reach out to? Not necessarily to have the answers, but they might know somebody, in their network that could help you with some issue, whether it's a new employee or something like that. Who Not How is such a great book.
Yeah, the never be afraid of asking the stupid question. We all talk about that, but it's true. I mean, I should know, after 20 years of running a large organization in our industry, I should know it all, right? Or sometimes my brain says, why are we going back to the basics? Why are we asking about morning routines or some of these things? But it's just to constantly keep it curious and keep it up there. So I don't think there's never a bad question. It's just, but to your point, you're not going to get the answer. You're just going to get perspective. And so if you can find balance of that, if you go out there looking for the answer, you're just going to get disappointed. Everyone's going to ask you back with a question. It's just, sometimes some of my coaches, I'm like, stop asking me the questions. Just give me the dang answer. And they won't, and they know not to, but it doesn't stop me from keep asking.
No, that's good. It's good to always ask questions. Now, I know one of the things, every time I'm looking at an article or announcement, you're on one board or another. What's the interest? What's your thoughts around getting involved in organizations like NALP and going to the Leaders Forum?
Yeah, it's for me, it's always been you're going to get more out of it than you're going to put in, and that's now my experience shows that to be very true. But early on, I mean, I joined with NALP as soon as I got out of college and went into to the committee levels, because it was a curiosity of what are we talking about and how do I be part of that conversation rather than just the recipient of it at a seminar, and always admired the organizations that were growing their businesses, and just knew that I have to create a relationship with them, and where do some people become your friends? Where do some people become coaching and mentors? And where do they just become colleagues and such? And so I've, I guess in life and where I'm most passionate, I just like to be in the center of that circle or with people, rather than outside waiting to hear what's going to come of it. So right. Jumping right in. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. And it's funny. I listen to people who go to some of these events and they just bitch and complain about, oh, the hotel was terrible or the food was bad. But if you go in with that positive mindset and you have some type of, not necessarily an agenda, but just some type of way, and how am I going to maximize not only this money I'm spending, but just my investment in time to go to those events, then you usually come back with some type of positive outcome, 2 or 3 nuggets or another connection. But a lot of the time it's up there. Yeah. It makes that difference between whether it's a great event or a mediocre event.
Yeah. And then, when you start creating relationships, it gets over a lot of those odd logistics that just come up on things. So when you start seeing colleagues and friends that are across the country there, you don't worry about those little pieces anymore, because they could fill in, or that seminar that just ran a little flat on you, but that evening you're going to have a drink with this company, and you're going to learn a lot more from that night than you probably could from other pieces. So it broadened the horizon when you start growing that network and being at the places where the people are, and finding yourselves with, like-minded peers or those that are really doing some wild things. And it's just, so adds more in the head. It puts a ton of things on your to-do list, but you always feel fulfilled.
Yeah, that's so true. So what does it look like in terms of you, as new CEO steering RM? You're obviously involved in different groups. You see what's going on in your peer groups. You see what's going on in the industry in terms of different acquisitions or consolidation. You don't necessarily have to give away any secrets, but how does that help you? And what does that then look like for steering RM to whatever the future looks like, double revenue, multiple markets, whatever growth looks like for you?
It broadened that horizon. Again, I think of it when I was in college and you go to a career fair and you came from your local town in Hilton, New York, and you knew what a landscape company was. But then you go there, and at the time you saw what Brickman was, or you saw Natural. So throughout my whole career, I continued to be introduced to a more broadened horizon of what this business could be. So now I do see, how can we become a regional organization? How do we, we've established branch structures. How do we not settle with the idea that, we used to do design build, but now we're, snow is actually the biggest revenue source for us right now, and growing well over the other ones. And so it's opened my eyes to what is potential, and that dream can be very achievable. For me, it's building the right team and expertise. Again, what's in my wheelhouse and what can we grow versus what it means to take a company, outside of your general regions or further out. So have goals for that. And that's really just to say, is that what our company needs for our team? Do we have enough people that are ready to go with us and say, I'm done being a production manager, or I'm ready to come out of the field. Where is an opportunities? And these are those chances. So I've appreciated what this industry has shared with each other about how they got there on these podcasts like yours. We just hear these origin stories and it's like, well, maybe I can. And then you can dig in a heck of a lot further with that information. So it's exciting. And there's no secrets here. We're following a lot of other people's playbooks and we're excited to see those.
Yeah, I call that R&D, rip off and develop.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And it circles back to something we talked about earlier, the who, not how, because, the who is around, who are the people that are going to help you take you to that next level. So, who's on your leadership team, building that bench, but also, if you are expanding, then who are the people with that knowledge to be able to either structure another deal if you're acquiring somebody, or maybe it's some financing you need to, to finance that growth. So somebody might know how to structure that. But again, a lot of this goes back to the who, not how part, and having somebody else's knowledge and, hey, how do I take it from this level to this level, or expand to these other locations? And there's so many people around willing and to share that knowledge, especially in our industry, such a giving industry. So I love where you're going.
Right. The peer group, where that accountability grows. We work with a well-known Frank Ross is our financial person, has been just huge and impactful, and as we've grown our organization, the conversations we're having are much more technical and involved, and probably wasn't ready to have them 10 plus years ago when we started work, but now talking about the M&A space or how that works and what would be an appropriate move on our level, and we frame that out, and so it's putting a lot of thought. And then I'm now looking for people that could come on that'll have some of these expertise, who could start a branch in another market for us, rather than, is that my energy? And energy shift. I think in a tenure of a career, and I'm not by any means over my career, but there's things that I'm done doing. Like, that's not me anymore. And I got to stay here and focus on this, or I want to be a little further ahead on this thought. And so I'm trying to get my hands around where I want to settle with this organization.
That's awesome. Awesome. Brett, how we're just finishing up here, but how do people get in touch with you? Just maybe they want to learn about your journey, or maybe getting involved in NLP or something like that. What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, email Lemcke, Lemcke @rmlandscape.com. Love talking on the phone. The Zooms are been helpful in just connecting with folks. So I love that. Certainly, I'm at a lot of functions, and if you ever see me there, I'm ready to talk and chat, and that's always been a fun part of those times. So it's important for me. It was tough with a family to go to a lot of these events and see and be a part of it. But as the kids are being older, I'm glad I've been able to establish some really great relationships, and excited for the new ones we get to make.
That's awesome. Awesome. Brett, thank you for your time today. I know you're a busy guy, and really appreciate your time, everything you do for the industry. And I look forward to catching up with you soon at one of our events.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Brett.
Take care.
Hopefully that was pure, dead brilliant for you today, and you got some great takeaways for your business or your leadership role. This is Robert Clinkenbeard, and we'd love to get you and your friends to join us in our future journey. So please subscribe through the various podcast channels, or visit thecommerciallandscaper.com or brucewilsoncompany.com and check out some more information there. Anyway, hopefully you all have a pure, dead, brilliant day. Cheers, everyone.